Okay, so I figured I'd just make a video because these videos kind of help me remember what has happened. Like, a lot of the time I just go through motions and then like, it's very mindless. I'm not mindful about it. And then I'm like, what happened this week or this month or this year, even maybe? So, I want to start just making videos whenever I think about it, just so I can look back at them and be like, okay, here's the progress that I made, blah, blah, blah. And it's also really cool to see like what I was struggling with like a week ago and that I'm not struggling with now. Last night I had this crazy dream. I guess it was more like a nightmare. So it was really weird because I love animals of all kinds. Rather, it's like I love insects, snakes, anything, right? Well, I had a dream about insects and snakes last night. It was really weird because I usually don't have like bad dreams about animals unless it's like something bad happening. I'd like save them or something. But this was really bizarre because it was like they were attacking me. So, so there was this house and it was my sister and I, and you walk in the door and there's a kitchen and there's like a normal sized fridge, but it takes up 1/3 of the room. And you go out of the kitchen and there's a staircase to the left and then a big like kind of a living room thing and then a room past that, but it was really dark and I didn't see it or care about it. But in the living room, it was like this giant living room and there was like maybe like 1/4 of the living room was this big like wood box and it had dirt in it and these trees, just like it was just like a forest. Like 1/4 of the living room was like a forest and there was a snake coming. Like I was still standing in the kitchen with my sister and there was a snake staring at us, but like I didn't really see the snake. Like I knew it was there, but I didn't see its face yet. And so I walked away and kind of hid behind, I think it was a stack of books. And so I hid there and the snake kept, it was like it was getting longer. So I thought it was like the kitchen is here and I thought the snake was like going like this through the forest and like going into that other room. And so, and it was this big like maybe like this fat and like just like lime green and this like kind of moist scaly body. And so, oh my god, my nose. And so I start creeping back into the kitchen like this, and the snake like comes out like and is facing me, and it's like a pit viper. Like it has these like eye, but the pit viper doesn't have these eyes. But picture a pit viper or Google that, and then like it has these eyes like my snake, not a pit viper, and they were like cat eyes, like they were slanted, like he was mad or something, but he was like looking straight like that. And then he had like, I could still picture his face like this way, and then like he looked and he had like this, you know, those like cheeks that like venomous snakes have, and then he was just staring at me. And then I was like, okay. And I started like backing up towards the kitchen more, and he started coming at me kind of faster, and he was like right in my face. And then he opened his mouth like, and he had like these two long thin teeth. I guess they're not really teeth, but they looked like teeth more than like, what do snakes have fangs? I don't know. But so they were like these long thin ones. And he was coming closer and I whacked him, I think with one of those books, but I don't know. I had something in my hand and I whacked him and I felt kind of bad, but he like backed up and I didn't want to like hurt him, but I didn't want to get bit either. So I'm like, and his face was like so big. It was like maybe like this big and his body was just huge. It was like this gigantic viper that we would see in a Harry Potter movie or something. And so I'm like backing up and I kept hitting him. Every time he got too close to me, I just whack him. And then I'm like, Sam, come on. I'm calling my sister. And we were like, she's like in the kitchen still. I don't know if she's in the kitchen the whole time. She's in the kitchen and she's trying to shut like all the drawers in the kitchen, the fridge are open. Like the bottom two where you put the fruit and vegetables, and then the like cheese drawer, that's what I call it. And then I'm like trying to shut them, and for some reason every time I shut one, like it opens. Like I shut it, and then they're all opening, and I'm like, what the heck? So finally I got them shut, and I shut the fridge, and the snake, actually at this point it's not even a snake anymore. Like I still felt like it was the snake, like it was the same soul, but instead of being a snake, it was this little girl, and I was still like freaked out. I'm like, I don't want this girl to kill me. And so, and she had the same like eyes as the snake, just like staring. And so I don't know if they had like the slits in them like a snake does, but anyway, I wasn't looking at her that closely. I was just trying to get out of there. So then I'm trying to unlock all the doors and get out. And I'm opening the doors, and it's like 5 doors. It wasn't that many doors when we went in. When we walked in, it was only 1 door. And it was weird because it's kind of like a camper door. And when we were leaving, it was like a wood door with all these locks on it, and then a screen door, and then it was a mess. And so we finally got out of there and shut the door. And then we got into, my mom was there, and we like got into this minivan. It was crazy. But there's more to it, but that was basically it. So that was my dream. And then, yeah. Oh, and then I woke up at 7 a.m. and I'm supposed to take my medicine at 7, but I like fell back asleep without taking my medicine or feeding my cat or turning the temperature. I like have a routine at 7. So usually I wake up at 7, take my medicine, feed my cat, turn the temperature back up because I turned it to 65 while I'm sleeping, and then up to 69 when I'm at 7, so when I wake up it's not freezing, or sometimes 70. But anyway, so I woke up at 7. This is the first time I'd done this. I've been taking this medicine for like a month and a half. So first time I'd done this, I like woke up and I went back to sleep without taking it. And so I woke back up at 8, took my medicine. But during that hour, while I fell back asleep, I had a dream about all these ants. And it was really weird. Like I was sitting there thinking about psychiatry and social work. So I used to be a social work major, and now I want to major in psychiatry. But if I don't get accepted to the school I'm trying to apply to, I'm going to just finish my social work and then get a biology degree and then go to med school. But if I do get accepted to the school I want to go to, I'm going to jump right into biology because it's kind of a long story. But anyway, so I'm going to do that. But I had this dream that I was thinking about social work and psychiatry. And when I thought about psychiatry in the dream, it was like, I was like, okay, this is something I want to do for money. And then I thought about social work, and I'm like, this is something I want to do because I want to do it. And so there was like an ant and an ant. There's 2 ants. And then this was like this doesn't make sense, but this was the psychiatry ant and this was the social work ant. And I went to I blew on the second ant. I was like, and it turned into 3 more ants. So there's 4 ants. And then I was just sitting there, and then those 3 ants turned into, like, they kept multiplying. So it was like the 2 more each, or 3 more each maybe. I think it kept going in 3s, and they just kept spiraling out. And the whole floor was filled with ants. And I was trying to write in my notebook if I wanted to do psychiatry or social work. I was trying to like process it and write it down, but you can't see like half of my face, but that's okay. So I was trying to write it all down, and ants were just crawling all over my notebook, and I'm like, oh, I can't even write. So I'm like trying to write, and the ants keep crawling on my notebook, and I'm like pushing them off, trying to write, pushing them off, and then it's literally, my whole notebook is like black, and I'm like, oh, and then I'm like slamming the notebook on the ground to get the ants off, but then I had squished some of them, and then I felt bad, and I'm like, I didn't mean to kill them, but I really want to write, and it was so frustrating. And then I started getting grossed out because, like, I don't mind ants, but literally they were, like, all over. And then I don't want them, like, crawling. They started, like, crawling on my body. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm not tripping about ants, but, like, I don't want them all over my body. Like, they're going to go in my ear, my nose, like, my mouth. Like, I don't want them inside me. So it was, like, kind of freaking me out. And then I basically woke up after that. So that was interesting. And then I was thinking, I was like, I don't want to go into psychiatry just for the money, though. Like, that's not the only thing. But I don't know. I guess I want to kind of make a pros and cons list. But I'm kind of sick of changing my mind all the time sometimes. I mean, it's okay to change your mind, but, like, I don't know. I think I'm just going to see if I get accepted to this school. I think that's just my side. to go into psychiatry, and if I don't, that's my sign to go into social work. So I think I'm just gonna do that because I already know, like, there's reasons I want to go into social work and reasons I want to go into psychiatry. And I mean, basically, I feel like they're the same, except that psychiatry is medicine. Because either way, I want a private practice, and like, that's it. Like, I want a private practice. I'm gonna have clients. I guess like the type of client you get in psychiatry and social work is different a little bit. Like in social work, if I'm a social worker, like if I'm an LMSW, then I'm going to have some clients who are on medication, some who aren't. If I'm a psychiatrist, all my clients are probably going to be on medication, and it's going to be my job to give them medication. And usually, so I have a psychiatrist. I have a psychiatrist and a social worker. My social worker is my life. My psychiatrist is awesome too, but he's not the type of psychiatrist who talks to you. I want to be a psychiatrist who kind of does social work and psychiatry. Like, I want like people to be able to talk to me. Like with my psychiatrist, it's kind of just like, how you doing, blah blah blah. I only see him once a month, and basically he just wants to know what's going on with my medicine, and that's basically it. Like my therapist does the rest. So I feel like as a psychiatrist, I want to do the social work part and the medicine part. And I probably won't make as much because like the more you kind of just like are like, okay, here's your prescription, next patient, like the more money you're going to get because you're seeing patients faster. But it's like, it's not all about the money. I'm not going to be happy if I'm just like, I don't know, like I want to make a difference, and I want to use my money to make a difference as well. But if I'm just like making money off of not actually helping people just to use that money to help people, that's counterproductive. So I just want to know how I can best help people. That's really it. And I know that like if I can help people more as a social worker, I would rather do that. But I don't know what. I mean, I know there's a bigger need for psychiatry than social work. There's a need for both sides, and especially good social workers. Like, yeah, there's not a high of demand for social workers as psychiatrists, but there is as big of a demand, if not more, for good social workers, or like social workers that are kind of up to date on training. I don't know. There's a lot of good social workers. I don't know. Maybe I'm being unfair, but my social worker is absolutely amazing. I want to be just like her one day. And if I can be just like her and be a psychiatrist, I think that would be really awesome. But I don't know. It's a lot to process. So I guess I just have to think about it more and see what happens with my application decision. It'll be easier if I'm a psychiatrist, I have to go through like 10 more years of school. If I'm a social worker, I have to go through 2 more years for my master's, because I have 1 more year. What is it? I have 1 more year for my bachelor's, but I think there's a 1-year program at somewhere, I'm not gonna say, for your master's. But I don't really want to go to that school, so maybe I would have to do another 4. I don't really know. But I know it'd be a lot less than 10. It'd be at least half of 10, at least. It'd be 5 more years maximum to be a social worker, and 10 years minimum to be a psychiatrist. So there's that. But I don't want to make a decision based on time only, because I am young, and it's like, I mean, it's... If I spend more time to do something that I want for the rest of my life, then it's worth it. So, but also med school is a lot of money. But also I'll be making more money so I can pay it off. But also, if I'm spending all my money to pay off my loans, am I really making more money? And taxes are crazy. I didn't realize how much percent taxes took, but it's ridiculous. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.